This is the outside pre-trip. Before I can start my pre-trip, I need to make sure of 4 things. First, that my bus is secured. That means that my key is in my pocket. Second, that my 4-way hazards are flashing, that my front wheels are turned all the way to the right, and my rear wheels are chalked. Now I can talk about my bus. My bus is 8 feet wide, 20 feet long, 14,500 pounds, or roughly 7 tons. My bus is 9 feet, 2 inches tall, with the roof hatch closed. It will be 9 feet, 6 inches tall if I opened the emergency hatch for ventilation. Now I can start my pre-trip. I'm going to start at the front of the bus, and I'm looking at the bus, and I notice that it's not leaning from side to side. There's no lean, and it's not leaking anything underneath. There's no fluids leaking underneath. Now I'm going to start at the top and work my way down, just pointing out everything I see along the way. So let's start at the top. I have 3 amber clearance lights. They are attached and in good condition. I'll check their operation later in the pre-trip. I have school bus lettering, 8 inches, black on yellow. It is attached and in good condition. I have 2 amber school lights, 2 red school lights. They are attached and in good condition, and I will check their operation later in the pre-trip. My windshield is attached in good condition, and I have a school and state inspection sticker that is valid. My windshields are attached and in good condition, and I will check their operation later in the pre-trip. Now, I'm going to move to my mirrors. Starting with my driver mirror. It is attached and in good condition, and the lenses are in good condition. My driver's side crossover mirror is attached, lenses are in good condition and pointed down. On my passenger crossover mirror, it is attached, lenses are in good condition and pointed down. On my passenger mirror, it is attached and in good condition. The lenses are in good condition. Right here is where I say that all of my mirrors will be adjusted to my personal use. Now I'll continue examining the front of the bus. Next, I'm going to look at the grille. It is attached and in good condition. Behind the grille is a radiator that is attached and in good condition and not leaking. I have 2 headlight lenses. They are attached and in good condition, and I will check their operation later in the pre-trip. I have 2 directional marker hazard lights that are attached, in good condition, and operational. Now I will talk about my bumper. It is attached and in good condition. I have a license plate that is a match to the license plate in the rear that says school bus, which allows me to transport children. Finally, I will talk about my crossing arm. It is attached and in good condition, and I will check the operation later in the pre-trip. Now I move to the side of my bus, and just like at the front, I'm going to start at the top, work my way down, and talk about everything I see. So everything from the back of the bus all the way up to the driver's door I will talk about. So starting with the emergency exit. My emergency exit is clearly marked. I have 1 amber clearance light, 1 red clearance light. They are attached and in good condition, and I'll check their operation later in the pre-trip. All of my windows are attached and in good condition. My emergency exit window is attached in good condition and outlined in yellow reflective tape, and I will check its operation later in the pre-trip. My stop arm is attached and in good condition. The lenses are in good condition, and I will check their operation later in the pre-trip. I have 1 directional marker hazard light that is attached, in good condition, and operating. I have 1 red reflector that is attached, in good condition, and the correct color for its position. I have a fuel cap that is attached, in good condition, and not leaking. I know that because I do not see or smell fuel. Underneath my gas cap, is my fuel tank and fuel tank cage. They are attached and in good condition, and my fuel tank is not leaking. Next, I move to the driver's door, and I will talk about the window. The window is attached and in good condition. Now I will point out my steering components. My steering components are a steering wheel, which is connected to a steering column, which is connected to a gearbox with hydraulic lines, which is connected to a pitman arm, which is connected to a drag link, which is connected to a steering arm, which is held with a knuckle and spindle, and all are held together with a castle bolt and cotter pin. I will say that they are attached in good condition and my hydraulic lines are not leaking. At this point, I can open my driver's door and pop my hood. As I open my hood, I'm going to say that my hood is attached and in good condition, and that it latches securely. Now, I'm going to talk all of my engine components. First off, I will start from the left and I'll work my way to the right. So starting with the left, the first thing I see is my battery. It's attached and in good condition. My cell caps are present and I have tight connections. Now I move to my coolant. This is my coolant reservoir. This is my radiator cap. What I say here is that my coolant reservoir is attached, filled to sufficient level, not leaking. This is not a part of the pressurized system, which means that I can fill this while the engine is hot. Now I talk about my dipsticks. My oil dipstick, I can check this with the engine off. My transmission fluid dipstick, I can check with the engine running. This is my air filter. It is attached and in good condition. Behind my air filter is my alternator. It is attached and in good condition, and my belts are attached securely and not cracked or frayed. Then I move over to my power steering fluid. It is attached, filled to sufficient level, not leaking. Right down here is my fuse box. It is attached and in good condition. Then you're going to say that you keep spare fuses inside the cab and ask, would you like to see one? Then you talk about your brake fluid. It is attached, filled to sufficient level, not leaking. Underneath your brake fluid is your master cylinder. It's attached and in good condition. Next, windshield washer fluid is attached, filled to sufficient level, not leaking. Next is your computer. It is attached, in good condition, and the connections are tight. Then you talk about all your hoses and wires. They are attached and in good condition with tight connections. Then there's one part that you can't see, and that's the water pump. You say it's attached and in good condition. I know that because I don't see anything leaking underneath the vehicle. It's very important when you're at this section of the pre-trip talking about what's underneath the hood. Everything that holds liquid, you mention, is not leaking. Everything that has an electrical connection, like your wires, your battery, and your computer, you mentioned that it has tight connections. Now I'm moving around to the passenger side tire. Here, with all tires, you're going to start from the inside and work your way out. So the first thing you see inside here is going to be the frame. And in the frame, we use the phrase CDW. That stands for cracked, dented, welded, CDW. So we say our frame is not cracked, dented, or welded. Then you're going to talk about your two-part suspension system. This is your shock absorber, and right here are the coils. You say that they are attached and in good condition, and your shock absorber is not leaking. Then you talk about your hydraulic lines that run to your inside caliper, right here. They are attached and in good condition and not leaking. Then You can see your inside caliper right there, the black thing, right there. Then you're going to talk about your inside rim, CDW. It's not cracked, dented, or welded. When you talk about the tire wall, the side of the tire, you use ABC. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts, which would cause a blowout. Then you go to the top of your tire. The top of your front tire needs to have 4 32 inch tread depth, and they cannot be recapped. The outside tire wall, ABC, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, which would cause a blowout. Your rim, CDW, is not cracked, dented, or welded. Then you move to inside the rim. Inside the rim, you have a rotor. You have brake pads, which you need to mention need to have at least 1/4 inch of pad left. And then your outside caliper is in here. The outside caliper is what houses the brake pads. That's this right here. You need to mention that all of this is dry in here. Then you move to your lug nuts. Your lug nuts are tight with no rust or shiny parts, which would indicate a loose one. Then you talk about your hub seal, and you say your hub seal is dry. Finally, you have a metal valve stem and cap. This is where you talk about your tire pressure. My tire is properly inflated to 70 psi, and I can check that with a rubber mallet or a tire pressure gauge. Now, you move from your tire to your service door, and you mention that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kick-out windows. They are attached and in good condition, and the seals are attached and in good condition. Then you move to the side of your bus, and you talk about everything just like you talked on the other side, attached, or you talk about everything from the top down. So starting from the top, working my way down, I can see that my emergency exit is clearly labeled. I have an amber clearance light and a red clearance light. They are attached and in good condition. All of my windows are attached and in good condition. My emergency exit window is attached in good condition and is outlined with yellow reflective tape, and I will check its operation later in the pre-trip. I have a directional marker hazard light that is attached in good condition and operating. I have a red reflector in the rear that is attached and in good condition. Now, I'm going to talk about what's underneath my bus in the midsection. There are 3 things to look for, and we use the term FED, F-E-D. FED stands for frame, exhaust, drive shaft. Okay? So my frame, CDW, is not cracked, dented, or welded. My exhaust is attached in good condition, and there's no carbon buildup at the joints, which would indicate a leak. And I have a 2-part drive shaft with 2 loose hangers. They are attached and in good condition. Now I'm ready to move to the rear tire. And just like before with the front tire, I start at the back and work my way forward, and I let my hand do the work. So the first thing I see is my frame. My frame is not cracked, dented, or welded. Remember CDW. Now I'm going to talk about my suspension. I have leaf spring hangers, leaf springs, and U-bolts. They are attached in good condition, and my leaf springs are not damaged or missing. Now you're going to mention that you have 2 matching tires with a spacer in between, which prevents them from rubbing, which would cause a tire fire. Now you're going to move to the inside rim. My hand is on the inside rim, and remember CDW. It is not cracked, dented, or welded. Now my inside tire wall, ABC, has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, which would cause a blowout. Now the top of my rear tires can be 2 32 inch tread depth, and they can be recapped. Now your outside tire wall ABC has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, which would cause a blowout. My outside rim is not cracked, dented, or welded. Inside my rim, I have a rotor, brake pad, which has at least 1/4 inch of pad, and my outside caliper. And remember, we need to say all of this is dry in here. Then we talk about our lug nuts. They are tight, and there's no signs of shiny parts or rusted parts behind the lug nuts, which would indicate a loose one. Then you mentioned your hub seal is dry. Now on the rear tires, you have 2 metal valve stem and caps because you have 2 tires. So you need to mention that. And then you say that your tires are properly inflated to 70 psi, and you can check that with a rubber mallet or a tire pressure gauge. Now I didn't mention this on the front tire, but you need to check your mud flaps on all tires. Make sure that they are attached and in good condition. Now you can move behind your bus, right behind your rear wheel, and you mention 3 things. CAH, CAW. C stands for caliper, A stands for axle, H stands for hydraulic lines. Okay, so you're going to say it like this. My rear axle is attached and in good condition and dry. You need to say it's dry. My hydraulic lines lead to my inside caliper, which are attached in good condition and not leaking. Now at this point, I'm standing at the rear bumper, and I'm going to mention that I have 2 things. First, my backup alarm, which is attached and in good condition, and I will check the operation later in the pre-trip. And finally, my tailpipe, which you can see right here. It is attached in good condition and does not stick out more than 2 inches from the rear bumper. Last part is to move to the back of the bus. And again, you're just going to start from the top and work your way down. So, starting at the top, I have 3 red clearance lights. They are attached in good condition. I'll check their operation later in the pre-trip. I have school bus lettering, 8 inches, black on yellow. It is attached and in good condition. I have 2 amber school bus lights, 2 red school bus lights. They are attached in good condition, and I will check the operation later in the pre-trip. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 kick-out windows. They are attached and in good condition, and the seals are in good condition. Now you mentioned I have 2 marker directional hazard lights that are attached in good condition and operating. I have 2 brake lights, which work in conjunction with my tail lights. They are attached and in good condition. I have 2 reverse lights that are attached and in good condition. I can check these lights in one of 2 ways, either against the illumination of the building or a buddy system. Then I'm going to talk about my license plate light, and I'm going to say that it is attached and in good condition, and you'd hold your hand like this to see the light, and then you talk about your license plate, which says school bus. It is a match to the front, which allows me to transport children. Then I have 2 red reflectors. They are attached in good condition and the proper color for their location. Then I talk about the bumper. It is attached and in good condition. The last thing I do for my outside pre-trip is talk about my emergency exit door. And I will say that my emergency exit door is attached in good condition. I have proper labeling, and it is outlined in yellow reflective tape, which is also outlining the entire outside of the rear of my bus and along both sides of my bus. Now I will test the operation of the emergency exit door by opening the door all the way until it latches, and then I'll pull against it to make sure it's locked. Finally, I will say that my emergency exit is properly labeled with instructions, and I'm going to mention that my seals are attached and in good condition, which prevent carbon monoxide from leaking into the bus. That is an outside pre-trip.